Welcome, Bronco Nation, to another exciting video. Today, we are going to be talking to a recent Boise State signee. He's going to be coming in the 2026 class and playing linebacker for Boise State. I have Rocky Dunn on here with me today. We're going to be talking a little bit about the reasons that he chose Boise State, some of his time playing in high school so far, and the things that excite him about joining this Boise State Bronco team. Talk about your high school time here and getting ready to come play for Boise State. So you're a junior right now in high school. You're part of the 2026 class. Is the plan to come right in with the 2026 class, or is there going to be any kind of leap year or anything like that?
Yeah, no, so I'm gonna graduate early in December. And then I'm guessing early January is probably when I'll enroll. Get right into it. Excited, can't wait. Um, a lot of my friends actually this last year they graduated early and it helped them out a lot. So yeah, I'm excited.
Well, let's talk about that high school playing time so far. You're a junior. How long have you been starting with this team? Did you come from California to play with them, or were you here the whole time playing all the way through, same group of guys?
Yeah, so we moved here from California about 4 years ago. Yeah, yeah, 4 years ago. We originally moved to Prosper, Texas, which is like 30 minutes west. Um, we moved here my freshman year, so I've been able to play my whole high school career here. That's been awesome. My freshman year, I played most of my freshman year on the freshman team. The last couple of games, they brought me up to varsity for like playoffs and stuff. I was on like special teams. That was about it, but it was still fun. My sophomore year, the first couple of games I rotated, and then I earned the starting spot. So I started most of my sophomore year, my whole junior year. Junior year is definitely a big step for me. I felt way more comfortable just with the calls on the field. It was really fun. I wish we had a down year as a team. We went 6-4, missed the playoffs for the first time in forever. So that was unfortunate, but definitely looking to bounce back this year. Super excited for a senior season. Yeah, yeah, that's about it.
What were some of your stats from this last year?
Yeah, so I had 76 tackles, 11 pass breakups, and 5 tackles for loss. I didn't
Nice.
have any picks, which still annoys me, but I did drop a couple, which is unfortunate, but definitely something to work on. But yeah.
Well, talking about something to work on, so you're moving from safety to linebacker. So before we talk a little bit more about being recruited specifically by Boise State, let's talk a little bit about that decision to go from safety to linebacker. Was that a decision driven by recruitment, by the schools you were talking to, or was that an independent individual decision that you wanted to go to that spot?
Yeah, so I had been told by some of my high school coaches that I was probably going to end up being recruited for linebacker. And I honestly didn't have a problem with it. I played linebacker in my 8th grade year. Um, and honestly, a lot of schools recruited me for safety, but most schools did recruit me for linebacker. And I don't know, just talking to different college coaches, it just sounded um, like that was the right move, especially to play if I. Oh, I mean, I want to play in the NFL, so it sounded like that was the best option for me to be able to get as far as I possibly can, really, and just become the best player I can.
Well, obviously, safety to linebacker, there are some differences there. So,
For
what are
sure.
some of the hurdles that you see? You say you have some familiarity with this position, but I assume this senior season you're going to move to linebacker. And then, what are some of the hurdles that you see yourself in that you're going to have to overcome, and some of the things that get you excited about playing in this new position?
Yeah, no. So actually, I'm still gonna I'm gonna stay at safety.
Okay.
So yeah, we honestly I I wouldn't have been surprised if they moved me to linebacker, but we don't really have the depth at safety right now.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, yeah, I don't really have like I said, I don't have a preference really. Like if I was to go to Boise and they needed me to play safety, I would have no problem with that. Um, but yeah, so I am looking forward to it though. I think I've never really played like in the my 8th grade year, but it's different. Um, but yeah, I'm excited. I think I'll be able to just I guess fit the run a little bit more than I already do. Um, Definitely get the chance to blitz. That's what I'm really excited for because I don't, obviously at safety you don't really do that all that much. But yeah, I'm excited.
Well, talking about that blitzing and that hard hitting, that's something that certainly stands out in your tape. If you had to describe yourself as a play style or as a playmaker, what would be your little elevator pitch for the kind of player that you are?
Yeah, I mean just physical and versatile too. Like I said, like a lot of schools are recruiting me for safety, nickel, linebacker, so I can really play all over the place. That's those are the two main things really is my physicality and my versatility.
When you look into the current or recent college or NFL, is there any players that stand out to you that you've kind of modeled your game after or that you see yourself, represented in at all?
Yeah, I mean, he's not really recent. I didn't even really get to watch him play growing up, but I Brian Dawkins, um, just the way he would hit people. Just going back and watching like his highlights and like Cam Chancellor, I'll literally watch him before games. Sometimes they get me riled up and ready to play.
I had to see you coming to Boise, and let's move that to the discussion point here of talking about Boise State. Obviously, there were other offers on the table, just to name a few of the top ones: Washington State, USF. You also had Air Force coming after you as well, which you'd love to see that from Boise State guys. When the academies start looking into someone, it usually means that they have everything lined up right. They got the right
Mhm.
character as
Yeah,
well. So, what was it about Boise State that ultimately made you pull the trigger for the Broncos?
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different things. At first, it was almost an impossible decision. And then I like just praying about it, talking with close families and family and friends. Kind of cleared up. It was a really obvious choice for me in the end. The coaches are a huge thing. Coach Collins, Coach D, like they're gonna keep it real with you. They were just awesome to talk with, sit down with. Um, Obviously, just going up there, like the facilities, everything's super nice, on par with everywhere else I've been. Um, yeah, yeah, it was yeah. There's a ton of different stuff. Like it's there's some weird stuff too. Like my dad works with a guy that Coach D coached like
Wow.
early, and he actually texted Coach D about me when they first offered me.
Wow.
So it's just stuff like that. And I've had some other family friends that went to Boise, and they just love it there. And then other my high school coaches, they've had meetings with like Coach D, not about me, but just in the past. And like everything I've heard about him and the other coaches is just there's I've never heard a bad thing about him. So that was in the end that was probably the biggest factor.
Something that a lot of the players on the roster and then incoming players that I've talked to, something they emphasize is that relationship for Spencer Danielson and his staff. How did they communicate that relationship to you, really make you feel like you were part of the family, either in recruiting or on your visits?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Collins, he's given me a couple phone calls. He even mentioned when we were on the unofficial, he's like, uh, "I'm not gonna be the guy to call you every single day," which I honestly appreciate because, I mean, especially these last couple months, I've just been every day, multiple coaches calling, and it's super like it's a blessing, but it's also it gets tiring. So, but when he does call me, it's always like a good conversation. He's always asking what questions I have for him. Um, so yeah, just stuff like that.
And they said the Boise State facilities, obviously, Boise State's got some incredible facilities, indoor practice area. They got a fantastic weight room, and obviously they're making some new renovations to the football stadium as well. When you went out there on the blue, which I'm sure you did on your visit, and you looked up, and I'm sure the stadium's empty right now, were you
Yeah,
able to kind of picture in your head what that place will be like when you're walking out for the first time as a Bronco and the crowd is going and the lights are going, the music? Did you get a little sense of that at all? Just kind of thinking into the future there?
for sure. Yeah, it was awesome. I've always wanted to see it in person, because I grew up kind of watching Boise. Um, but yeah, and they're doing that stadium. They're doing that little renovation in the end zone. So, but other than that, yeah, it was cool. It was cool. It was bigger than I thought it would be.
Well, let's talk a little bit about coming to Boise State here, specifically the role that Boise State's last season had. Did that have any impact? The Ashton Genty phenomena that was this season, the way that they promoted him, the Boise State's name in the limelight, in a way that they haven't been in recent years, but it seems like Spencer Danielson's got that team moving back towards that direction. Did that have any impact at all in your decision to come to Boise?
Yeah, a little bit, to be honest with you. I mean, yeah, just it's kind of funny because I feel like I don't know. I grew up on the West Coast, so I always knew who Boise was, and my dad grew up in like Utah, and they always played like Utah. Um, But yeah, so a lot of people I feel like, oh, Boise, like this random team up in Idaho. I'm like, what are you talking about? I like, but I mean a little bit, not a lot to be honest. Just because I always kind of knew who they were, and obviously their recent. I mean, the last losing season was what I just saw saying like 27 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, it played a little bit of a factor.
Well, obviously, going to the collegiate level is a massive accomplishment. You have over 1 million high school football players, and right around 7% of those actually make it to the collegiate level. So it's something very rare. How does it feel to know that you will be part of such an elite group of athletes that, you've said that your focus, and when we're talking about your hobbies, that, your focus is football. How does it feel to know that you're entering that peak that you've been working towards your whole life almost?
Yeah, it's pretty surreal. I mean, just thinking back like 4 years ago, like if you would have told me that I'd be playing at Boise State in 4 or 5 years, I would have told you like, what are you talking about? Um, but yeah, it's crazy. I'm super blessed. I'm super excited. I honestly couldn't be in a better position right now.
What has motivated you to push yourself and pursue this goal?
Yeah, I mean, definitely like my parents, my dad especially, different coaches that I've had. My brother, that's probably the biggest thing is my older brother. He committed to play at West Point a couple
Wow.
or like last year, but he's on his mission right now, his LDS mission. Um, but yeah, it was always a goal for him too to play college, and that was a big part of it, seeing his success. So
How have you set yourself out apart from many of your peers? Again, 7% getting to that top level. What have you done to prepare yourself as level physically, mentally, spiritually, even to get to this level of play?
yeah, I mean, after like my eighth grade year, I realized I kind of had to step it up a little. So it's every day during the summer. I was obviously we have our school workouts, our summer workouts, but I was always doing extra stuff. I had a couple coaches that kind of took me under their wing and helped me out with that. Um, but yeah, just putting on size, putting on speed. Um, yeah, just putting in that extra work really.
So moving into your senior season here, obviously this is the end of your high school playing time, and now you're going to be moving on to that collegiate goal that awaits you at the end of this year. What are some of the things that you're going to want to work on this year? Either improve talent that you already have, or to work on maybe bringing in some new tools that will help you at the next level. And I know every player who comes on, they always say, getting that state championship, the team goals, but individually, what are you working on this year to prepare yourself for the next level?
Yeah, I mean, I just need to work on my footwork needs some work. I honestly, it was pretty good last year as well, but I mean, you can always get better at everything. Definitely my hands, like I was telling you earlier, dropped a couple picks. And just kind of reading the offense better. Being able to watch film more effectively. Honestly, I think that's probably the biggest thing. Really, is just knowing like recognizing formations and being able to call stuff out. But yeah, everything for sure.
Well, final question or part question here is moving to Boise State here to come play in part what is a historic class. I mean, I don't know if you realize this in the historical context, but Boise State in 2026 will be moving into the Pac-12. You're going to be part of the groundwork, the foundation, the first ever class to play in the Pac-12, which has been a long goal for Boise State. So, how does it feel to know that you're going to be part of building history here in this new conference?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I grew up watching the Pac-12. Like I said, my dad grew up in Utah. He was a Utah fan. Um, it's a big deal to me. Definitely will be awesome.
What has you the most excited to come and play at Boise? Is there a game or, obviously there's going to be the teams that are in the conference. Is there anybody specifically that you're looking forward to coming and playing on a regular basis? Is there anybody that stands out to you that is you're excited to come play? Obviously all of them, but anybody specifically?
Yeah, one of my best friends, he plays at San Diego State. He plays tight end over there. That one I'll definitely be looking forward to. Playing him, that'll be really fun.
Well, we can't wait to see you playing on the blue. Thanks so much for coming on. It's been a great discussion. You obviously got a great head on your shoulders, so good luck this next year. Obviously, you still got your high school days left, so hope you go out with a bang and you blow it up this year and get that state championship goal. We'll all be rooting for you and excited to come see you play at Boise State. Thanks so much for coming on, everybody. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. Let me know in the comments what's got you the most excited about this next season, obviously, but even moving into the future in 2026. And thanks again for sticking all the way through to the end. Make sure you like, subscribe, and as always, go Big Blue!